Black not in the game. Higdon's got it again, and he's got room. And Karan Higdon banged.
Power run to the left for Higdon here. Right side of the defensive line is going to crash down. That's really going to help, and this defensive back is actually going to run upfield, and that'll help as well. Michigan's going to be pulling two guys. They're going to be pulling Patterson outside. They're going to be pulling Ruiz through the hole here. So the offensive linemen are really blocking down to cover this gap left by these linemen. And that's really going to help. These guys coming down field, coming towards the center of the field is going to help open up this hole. So, you know, notice this kind of wall that's built by the offensive line, given that Penn State was kind of slanting inside here. For the pullers, I mentioned before, this defensive back for Penn State is going to be rushing upfield. That's who Patterson's going to get on his pull. Ruiz is going to lead through here on the C gap. He'll eventually try to pick up this safety. He won't actually get there. I'd like to see him do better. So yeah, see, Patterson does a really good job. Here's Ruiz going through the hole. He doesn't actually pick up the safety here. Higdon doesn't really allow him to get there, but I'd like to see Ruiz stay engaged there a little better. McHugh needs to do a better job here. He's going to identify number 7. He'll actually block the outside shoulder. You know, play is designed to go right here, and you know, he doesn't really give that much inside. You know, he allows inside leverage for number 7, so I'd like to see McHugh on the other shoulder there, and you'll see here that number 7 actually does pick up the scraps of the play on Higdon there, so McHugh needs to do a better job. As far as Higdon on this play, I'd like to see him cut back here. You know, that's maybe advanced vision, but he's got quite a bit of room here. You know, you got DPJ blocking here. You got a lot of room to play with. Safety came up here in the gap, so I'd like to see him peek over there. You know, he's following his lead blocker, so can't really fault him there. But again, some patience right here, maybe trying to bubble outside or just kind of get on the hip of Ruiz, force this safety into a tough decision. So, you know, 11-yard pickup. He does a good job, but I think there were some yards left on the field.
Nice to see him back. Was set out the first half of the last game.
Higdon up and running into the secondary. Knifing deep into Penn State territory. It's Scott finally.
Huge pickup for Higdon on a split zone read here. So Runyon's going to actually be one-on-one on the defensive end. You're going to have a double from Patterson and Ruiz on this defensive tackle. Patterson will be looking to get up onto number 7 after the double team. But number 7, he'll come up, and he's kind of just lost. He doesn't actually get over to this gap that Higdon runs up. So, you know, not a big deal. It's tough for Patterson to actually get out there. So you see number 7's all the way over here. Patterson couldn't actually get to him, but by this time, Higdon's already long gone. So no problems on the left side of the line here. And Onwenu does a really good job kind of riding this defensive tackle to the left here, and this is going to form the left side of this hole for Higdon. So it's good job, good power from Onwenu to kind of force this defensive tackle to the left, and that just creates this seam for Higdon. So really good job from Onwenu. And I'm really impressed with JBB on this. He works with and goes with the motion that Onwenu is doing here. So he doesn't leave a gap. He motions to his left. He has to get out to this linebacker. He gets his left shoulder on the inside here. That'll form the right side of this hole for this seam for Higdon. So really good job shuffling, boom, engages. And notice how he seals off to his right. So that's a really good job from him. That creates this huge cavernous hole for Higdon. So I think JBB really makes this play. And the rest is just on this read. Patterson's going to get a high snap. Good job getting that. He's going to look over at 48. 48 is actually going to freeze. He doesn't go anywhere. So since he comes here and sits, it's the correct call to give to Higdon. And you're going to have Gentry here coming across, picking off 48, who's pretty indecisive here. Makes it a really easy read for him. You know, this is a lot of room for Gentry to pick up, and honestly, he probably doesn't even need to pick him up. This is just such a clear hole for Higdon here. So he does pick him up, and the rest is just Higdon running down the field. So really well executed, especially by JBB and Onwenu. Everyone does their job.
Patterson keeps it in.
Patterson for a touchdown on another split zone read. Looking at the right side of the offensive line, you're going to have Gentry, Bushel Beatty, and Onwenu kind of just blocking on this backside. Both of these two guys do well on the backside. Not a tough job. Onwenu doesn't get a whole lot of push, but he stays engaged with the defender, doesn't let him through. He does get him turned to the right and kind of forms this sort of diving lane for Ben Mason, so not a bad job. And then these guys turn their guys to the outside, so mission accomplished there on the right side. The rest of the offensive line is kind of a mess. You're going to have all of these guys blocking down to their right. You'll have a double from Onwenu and Ruiz and Bradison here. You know, a couple people fall. I think this is the right choice for Ben Mason if he did have the ball to dive off of Bradison, who's falling here. Looks like the only path for him. And I think it would be a touchdown if he did keep. Interesting aspect of this play. So you're going to have McCune coming across the formation here. The read guy is this guy coming off the edge. It's an interesting, I don't know how they choose like the rules on when to block this guy or not. You know, his hips are turned inside. He's waiting, but he's not attacking. He's not in a position, since he's waiting here, he's not in a position to tackle Mason. I think there's no upside to blocking him if you're McCune. If you block him here, that's only going to push him upfield. So if he does keep, that's going to create a huge bubble for Patterson, not beneficial. Therefore, McCune leaves him where he is. He's hesitated. That leaves room for Mason, and he goes and picks up number 11 here. It works out given how 18 played this. It's an easy keep. You know, 18 just didn't have a play on either Mason or Patterson. McCune's able to get to 11 on the second level, creates enough space for Patterson, and it's a touchdown.
Play action fake, and Patterson takes a peek downfield, and now takes a shot, and Nico Collins comes back.
Huge pass to Nico Collins on play action here. Penn State's only rushing 4 here. Michigan keeps 6 in for pass protection here. Especially good job here from JBB. Defensive end is going on a speed rusher on the outside. He stays engaged, allows Patterson to step up in the pocket comfortably, so good job by him. As far as routes go, Collins on an inside release fly route. Interesting route from Eubanks. I'll cover it a bit later. He's going to go on a flat route before turning it into kind of an out and up wheel route, you could say. You'll have Higdon off the play action, actually headed to the flat. McCune picking up this defensive end initially, chip him, and then head up the seam. Really interesting route combo on the top of the screen between Eubanks and Collins to open up Collins here. As far as eyes go for Patterson, you'll see right out of the play action towards this route combo, maybe towards this side of the field. He's looking to see, and he's also looking at this safety to see what the safety does. He'll check over here shortly there, sees that, you know, you got Nico Collins with quite a bit of separation. He already checked the safety. He knows he's got a window there and delivers. So this route combo, this defensive back has to come up on Eubanks' little fake flat route, right? So it's not a traditional wheel. If it was a traditional wheel route, that would give this defensive back time to get to that route since it's longer developing. He thinks that Eubanks here is on a flat route. That creates some urgency. He thinks he has to get out there because the throw on a flat route usually has to be quick. As a result of that fake, he runs right into the path of 21, creates this collision, and that creates both an opening for Collins and Eubanks after that fake route. So given that collision, you have 2 people here who are really open. You know, he could deliver a ball to either one of these. Given that Patterson read the safety, was too far inside, created that window, you'd like to see the pass, you know, further to the outside here, maybe a little longer. The wind probably did affect the pass. Good job by Collins to redirect with the ball in the air.
7. Patterson flushed, looks to the end zone, touchdown! Donovan!
Beautiful pass and catch from Patterson to DPJ. You're going to have a little stunt on the right side of this defensive line for Penn State. They're only sending 4. Michigan has 5 in to protect. Only bad spot here. You'll see that JBB does let this guy get a bit on the outside. This is about 7-8 yards deep, so that forces Patterson to kind of step up and roll to his right. So not the worst job by JBB. You know, everyone else handles it pretty well. They handle this stunt really well. You want to see JBB do a little better there, not the worst though. As far as routes go, you're going to have Gentry and Nico Collins on crossing routes here. you'll have DPJ on this flag route that is thrown for the touchdown. You'll have an outside release out route for Perry right around this first down marker. He'll actually occupy 2 defenders. That opens up DPJ on his flag route. Let's look at the eyes for Patterson. All the way, it looks like he's looking over to see how the defensive backs react to this route combo between Perry here and DPJ. Notices the pressure. He's going to start to roll outside here. Now he's looking, I think he's looking right here at Perry. Notices 2 defenders. He'll do a quick check over here, but he should realize, actually he doesn't even check. He just notices the safety was up. That'll leave this this throw wide open for DPJ there. It's a really nice catch by DPJ. He gets 1 foot down, turns his body and gets both feet down, drags him, so it would be good in the NFL. Just shows why he's a 5-star athlete. Great body control, secure the catch, drag the toes. 6 points.
Forcing punts on 3rd down. And another 1st down. Higdon off and running, and a spot.
Another split zone read here. Higdon with a big gain. Looking at the left side, you're going to have Runyon and Bradison one-on-one. Runyon's guy actually takes himself out of the play. It's a good job by Bradison to set the left side of this hole up really well. He gets, he turns this guy to the outside, sets his left edge for Higdon really well. So good job by Bradison especially. We're going to have McCune on this arc block. He'll actually come up to get number 17. Given that this guy on the edge, Parsons, I think is his name, he's the read guy. He works his way so far upfield, there's no real benefit for McCune to block him. Given how far he comes upfield and waits, he won't be able to react to Higdon here. Since he turns inside, if there's any chance at Patterson getting outside, a block would only force him upfield, which would cut off any sort of lane for Patterson. So I think that's why, you see McCune actually work to the 2nd level instead of picking up the read guy there. Regardless, he hands off. Read guy doesn't have anything there. And actually 17 worked too far inside for McCune to actually get there. Let's look at the right side. You're going to have Nwenu and JBB on a double team here. And Gentry's working to get up to number 11. You get good movement here to the left. You'll actually see that Nwenu picks up number 11 as they push his defensive tackle. He falls off, picks up number 11, who's coming upfield. So good job by Nwenu here. Block of the play definitely goes to Ruiz. Really difficult job. He has a lot of space here to operate, and he's going to work up to number 6. Really tough job as a center. He's operating in space, stays engaged with number 6, actually records a pancake here, sets this right edge just well enough in order for Higdon to spring free. Not sure why Higdon cuts back inside. Looks like he had a lot more space to work with outside. Obviously, he can't see behind him. That number 17 is right there. But still a good pickup regardless.
Greek Black in the game on 3rd and 7. Penn State shows pressure and brings it up the middle. And they get it out, and Evans has got space. Evans against Scott, and he'll be run out.
Great play call on a blitz from Penn State. Penn State's going to bring 5. It's an interesting blitz. They're going to have this defensive tackle coming up. They're bringing this middle linebacker to occupy Ruiz. Bottom of the screen, they're going to bring this defensive tackle to occupy Bradison, and then this defensive end. What this does is this opens up a lane for the defensive end who's looping around to come straight up the middle. If we move forward here, you'll see their blitz does exactly what they want. They have 3 offensive linemen on the right side to deal with 2 rushers, same on the bottom, and that leaves this open lane for 48 up the middle. Luckily, it's a quick pass, and the pressure doesn't even get close. As far as routes go, you're going to have both Nico Collins and Perry coming to the middle on slants. And then you're going to have 2 routes for Michigan that are meant to play off of these pick routes. You'll have Tariq Black coming across on a little crossing route here, and then Evans, who eventually gets thrown to on this wheel route. So these guys, these pick routes are meant just to occupy defenders, and mainly number 7 trying to get out to this wheel route. He has to work through quite a bit of contact, and it's a good job, just a good play design to get Evans open like that. As far as eyes for Patterson, he's looking here at this safety just to probably try to get him to gain some depth, because he's the only safety valve here for Evans up the field. He's the one who has to make the play. And the rest is actually, I'll back up here real quick. The rest is just on this pick route. So it's a good job by Collins. He does brace here, but he doesn't extend, he doesn't really like sell a block. He's, entitled to be where he is. He doesn't extend his hands to block here. So that's why it's not called offensive pass interference. And the rest is just Evans in space. He does well to maximize his yards, get down to about the 12-yard line.
13th play coming up. And Patterson tosses, touchdown!
Run pass option, throw to Gentry here. Let's look at the left side of the offensive line. These guys are on the back side of this run action for Higdon. So Bradyson does pretty well, Runyon does pretty well. Their whole job is just to not let anyone get through. You see they both are staying engaged, nothing gets through, so they accomplish their goals here. As far as the right side of the line, you have 3 blockers who are not pulling. They're blocking down to the left to account for the pullers. So you have Nwini blocking down here to the left. He'll do a really good job caving this defensive tackle to the left. The tight ends, Eubanks and McCune, working here on this defensive end and this linebacker respectively. Neither one of them do a really good job. So as I mentioned here, you have Nwini doing well. Eubanks is losing on this block. You can see he's already turned around. So 48 for Penn State. He's already passed this block, so not a good job. Similar thing for McCune. You'd like to see him stay engaged. Number 11, it has a clear path upfield. So given this handoff, you have both 48, who's in pretty good position to make a play, as is number 11. So you want to see both those tight ends do a much better job than they actually did. For the pullers, JBB is going to work to kick out here on this defensive back. And you'll have Nwini leading through the hole to try to pick up this safety back here. Again, neither one of these guys do a really good job. Bushell Beatty allows this gap for 21 to work inside. So again, if this were a handoff, this guy has a clear path to the running back. Since it wasn't a handoff, he doesn't react, but no reason for Bushell Beatty to be out here this far. We don't see Ruiz get out to the safety just because the play was quick, but hard to say. And then the mesh point is right here, and Patterson is looking at this outside linebacker, number 6, who's tasked with Gentry here. At the mesh point, he's reading, the viability of this route. Number 6 is already a step behind, so it's a good pull by Patterson and excellent ball placement. Puts it in a spot that only Gentry can get. Number 6 is still a step behind. Great catch and a good execution. Blocking could have been much better, but the right read from Patterson here.
Motivated by their pass.
And Patterson again, play action, downfield shot, Black caught, touchdown!
I know, this play got called back, but I had to give props to Tariq Black here. Penn State's only rushing 4 here. Michigan keeps in 6 to block, and they'll send out 4 on routes here. Gentry does get called for the hold here. It's the right call. You can see his left hand on the back here, and that's his, if he doesn't hold, Patterson does get sacked, maybe a strip sack. So, it's an acceptable hold, but you want to see Patterson do a bit of a better job here. Again, this is the hand. This is the hold right here that gets called. So, I understand why he held, and Gentry was pretty upset himself for committing the foul, but just got to do a better job moving forward. As far as routes go, it looks like you have a fly route from DPJ, bottom of the screen. Same for Tariq Black. You're going to have a flag route, kind of a corner route out of Eubanks here. And then out of the play action, Higdon's going to work to the flat here. Nothing too special. As far as eyes go for Patterson, the whole way right after the play action, looks like this is his number 1 read, and impressive speed from Tariq Black. That's where the ball's going the entire way, and Tariq Black just toasts this guy. I don't know what this guy's thinking. His entire job is not to let him get over the top. Number 4 is late to react as well, and Tariq Black shows great hands. Great speed. It's just great to see him back after the injury. Makes a great catch, and hopefully he'll get a touchdown next game to make up for it.
Comes in motion. They fake it to him. Patterson, stutter steps. Patterson hammers.
Fake the jet sweep to black, turns into a zone read here. Offensive line is just blocking down, zone blocking to the right. Nothing really to note here. I mean, they all do a good job. No one gets through. A hole doesn't really open up for Evans here, but it's the right read for Patterson, who's reading this defensive end. But offensive line as a whole, you know, they do their job. They block down. Ruiz actually gets to a linebacker, so it's well done by the offensive line. Play just doesn't go that way. On the left side, key blocks here, you're going to have McCune getting up to the second level on this linebacker. He's going to seal him inside and create kind of this hole between Eubanks and himself here. So it's a good job keeping his outside shoulder free, and actually this guy bites pretty hard on Evans, so he takes himself kind of out of the play, gives leverage for McCune on that block. Eubanks has a reach block out here on number 6. Again, number 6 actually comes upfield quite a bit, helps Eubanks wash him out of the play. So, you know, he's reacting to Tariq Black coming across, and that opens up this lane for Patterson here. Then, you know, I would like to see, you know, you saw Tariq Black coming out here. I would like to see him pick up number 4. Regardless, Patterson puts on a move and makes him look silly. So it's a good job by him. Then, you know, I mentioned he's reading this defensive end here since he's crashing down into Runyon right here. It's the right call to keep and go to the outside. You know, as I mentioned, Eubanks and McCune are helped just by the action of the play to open up this huge hole in the left. Puts on a great move. Great job by Ronnie Bell to really shift over quickly, get inside leverage, and pick up a block on 21. This probably gets Patterson an extra 2 or 3 yards here. So it's well-designed play. I really like the fake action to Tariq Black. Wish he would block a little bit better here, but picks up the first down. It's well-designed play.
Higdon at tailback, 2nd and goal. Higdon's got it and fighting, reaching.
Hard-nosed run from Higdon here to definitely put the game away. On the right side of the offensive line, you're going to have a double team from Patterson and Ruiz on this offensive tackle. They get decent push here. You know, not the best, but they do get movement, positive movement. That's solid. And Wayne is going to get excellent movement on this defensive tackle. He'll actually put him in the end zone, so great job. JBB is really on the outside here. He just turns his hips and ensures that this guy doesn't get around quickly. So not a difficult block, but he executes it well. So you see here, they got a little bit of movement. It's kind of a pile here. You'll see in Wayne continue to push here, and JBB is doing well to stay engaged with 48. On the front side here, you're going to have Runyon blocking down here initially before trying to get out to a linebacker. He actually won't pick up a block. Let's move forward here. He doesn't pick up on a block on 13 here, but he does force 13 to kind of bubble out. That's just enough for Higdon to get past him without 13 able to make an impact. So you see, it's kind of a whiff here, but it does enough to leave a crease for Higdon up here. 13 will swipe at him, does get a little bit of contact. Higdon fights through and is able to get into the end zone. Real good blocks here from the tight ends. So you're going to have Gentry blocking down as well on this defensive end. He gets great push here. He has good leverage given that this defensive end is crashing inside. So he'll really get a good push here. And you'll have McCune working out to the second level here on this linebacker. They'll create a really good crease. McCune will get the inside shoulder on his block. So he'll form the crease of the left side. So you see, this is Gentry. He's getting a really good push here. You know, McCune doesn't get a great block here, but he forces number 11 upfield enough to leave plenty of room for Higdon on his run. So, you know, from there, it's just a nice, powerful finish for Higdon to get across the goal line. So good blocking, good push overall. You can tell the Penn State defense is getting tired, and they're just giving it to him here at the end.
Evans behind Mason. Touchdown.
Touchdown by Evans to go up 42-0 here. This is a down G blocking run here, so you're going to have the left side just kind of blocking down here. You'll have McCune joining the fun as well. Their whole job just not let anyone backside into the backfield. They all do well. On the front side, you'll have Gentry reaching the second level on number 11. You'll have a double team from Ruiz and Bushel Beatty here, and they're doubling here to fill the gap left by Onwenu's pull out here. Quite a pile is formed here from this double team. You know, they don't let too much penetration. This gap for Evans is still there, so they do their job. And then I really include this play just to highlight Ben Mason because it's awesome. But you have this pull for Onwenu. He's going to pick up number 5, rushing off the edge, and then you're going to have Ben Mason leading the way through the hole. And poor number 17 is probably having a really long day, wants nothing to do with this man. So good job by Onwenu. And then you have a fullback about to take out a safety, and it goes about as well as you would expect. This guy goes flying and doesn't know where he is anymore, and Evans is in the end zone. So it's a hell of a way to end the game for the offense here.